Hi, everybody. I'm here with Donna St. Cyr today. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. Welcome to Oklahoma.
Thank you.
You're here for the encyclopedia, right?
Yes, I am.
All right. You having a good time?
I am. I had a wonderful time.
That's good. That's good. Well, I believe Secrets of the Cheese Syndicate is your first book, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's my very first.
Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. I am a librarian and a teacher. I have been for about 20 years, and I've always wanted to be a writer, but it's something that I didn't spend a lot of time pursuing until I turned 40. I won't tell you how old I am now, but I began to write seriously, and this is my first novel that's come out. I've done some magazine articles, nonfiction, and stories, and this got accepted actually by a publisher that I met in Oklahoma City a few years ago at a writers' conference. So I was very happy to come back to Oklahoma City as my debut for the novel.
Well, you may be writing seriously, but you're not writing somberly. This book is, is anything but somber. The Secrets of the Cheese Syndicate. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, it's a mid-grade fantasy, and it involves a boy named Robert and his little sister Janine, who's really irritating. They go on an adventure with the Cheese Syndicate, which is a secret society that no one knows anything about. And the Cheese Syndicate's goal is to protect the world from evil and bad taste. They're after something called the missing cheese of Aliki, which is this ancient cheese that got lost when the city of Aliki drowned in the ocean after an earthquake 2,000 years ago. And this cheese has got some really big powers, and Robert's got to find it, and if he finds it, he's going to be able to rescue his little sister, who is shrinking and is about an inch high because she drank something called Madame Gorgonzola's effervescent elixir, and she wasn't supposed to, and he was supposed to keep it from her. So.
Right. But I believe Madame Gorgonzola tells him that he didn't find the elixir, that it found him, right?
It did find him because actually his father, who's been missing for 2 years, is an agent for the Cheese Syndicate. Robert's last name is Montasio, which is a cheese region in Italy, and his father belongs to this ancient syndicate, but his children didn't know anything about it. So his father's lost on this mission, and they're bringing Robert in a little young. He's a little young for the job, but they're going to try him anyway to see if he can complete the father's mission and maybe, just maybe, find his dad.
Yeah. Now, one of the goals, as you say, of the syndicate is to protect the world from bad taste. Why in the world would you choose a 13-year-old boy as someone who's going to protect the world from bad taste? Well,
you know, the concept of bad taste is like beauty in the eye of the beholder. But Robert is chosen because this is a family business, like most mafia-style businesses. If you're not blood-related, you don't get in. So unwilling as he is, it's his job, and he's inherited it, and he'll have to step up to the plate.
Okay. That's why his mom is not involved in this adventure,
exactly.
Right?
She's married into the family, and she can't be part of the family business.
Yeah. Was it difficult? Because the book is told first person. It was written first person from Robert's point of view. Was that hard to get into the mind of a 13-year-old boy?
Well, no, because I have a 13-year-old son. Well, he's not 13 anymore, but he was. And I have 3 children. And it wasn't too difficult to get into their minds. And as a teacher and librarian, I've spent many, many hours with 13-year-old boys. So I tried to be a good observer and always gathering information for my stories. And I think that I came up with a voice that was pretty authentic for a 13-year-old. He's, he's whiny and everything's about him, and woe is me.
And Janine doesn't help that.
No, she does not, because she is an irritating little sister.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you agree, that you think she's irritating too, and was designed to be. I felt so sorry for Robert as I read the first few chapters, because he has this sister. He lives with his mom because his dad's gone. His friend is Melanie, Mel. His lab partner is Constance. His lab teacher is a female teacher. You were surrounding this poor kid with women. I mean, he didn't have any place to go to get away. He has a brief conversation with Coach Hawkins, the basketball coach, who is male, but that was the only one. Were you setting him up for something there on purpose?
You know, I don't believe I was setting him up on purpose. It's interesting that that you noticed that. My son tells me that the women have all the power in the world, so I don't know if maybe that was subconscious in my mind when I set that up. But you know, he's got some problems with some of the women, like Janine, but not all of the women. Some of them turn out to be some pretty good role models for him.
Well, if your son knows that about women, he is wise beyond his years.
Yes.
So what is the thing with cheese? Do you have a personal passion for cheese?
I love cheese. I just absolutely adore cheese. I really have a passion for words, and this is what happened. The story came about because my son found a bottle of Sprite on the bus and drank it. He came home with his sister, and she tattled on him. I blew up, had a fit, and talked about all the horrible things that just might happen to him because of what he did, and nothing happened to him. He was absolutely fine. But then I began to think about the what-ifs that went with that. What if that bottle was something mysterious, and who knows what was in it? And then what if it was magical? And I needed a name for it, and I began to think. And the name that came to me was Madame Gorgonzola's effervescent elixir. And I love the word gorgonzola. It just sort of rolls off of your tongue. And after she was a person and no longer a cheese because she had a name, Madame Gorgonzola, I began to think about other cheeses as people, and then the possibilities just started to spill, you know, out of my head, one after the other. And that's how it ended up. I don't know that I originally intended to have it be with cheeses, but it worked well. I liked it. I liked the motif, and I went with it.
So that was actually the origin of the story, was something that happened in your own family then?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Many of my stories come from things that happened from either my children or the children that I taught.
Yeah. I saw a lot, I could tell by reading this that you're a librarian. I mean,
How could you tell that I'm a librarian?
I could see lots of things in it, and you know, beautifully blended. I could see a little Daniel Pinkwater.
I like Daniel Pinkwater.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I could see a little Lewis Carroll with drinking the stuff and shrinking. I could even see a little Jonathan Swift, some Jules Verne in there. So it was neat. It was a really nice combination of things that was topped off by the originality of your voice and the whole cheese. God, I'm sorry, I'm kind of stuck on the cheese because I think that's wonderful. I think that's a marvelous comic thing to have that cheese in there. What was I going to say here? I had another note down there, and now I can't find it. Oh, I enjoyed, too, the scene where he's calling to try to get help because Janine has sampled this elixir. And he's trying to he's found a number, I think, on the bottle. Isn't that right?
Yes, there's a phone number that he calls on the bottle.
And everybody keeps passing him on to somebody else.
He does.
How realistic is that?
It's very realistic, especially if you are on somebody's computer helpline, either for software or for your hardware. No companies mentioned, of course.
Yeah.
But you often get passed on from person to person to person. And,
so what are you working on? You must be working on another one now.
well, I am working on a sequel to this story.
Okay.
And he and Janine collect some other characters, and they are off on a new adventure. And I have a piece coming out in a book of short stories that's going to be put out by Pauline Press and Media in May of 2010, but I'm not sure of the title of the book yet. And I have a historical fiction novel that's nothing like this at all. It's a story of the Acadians when they were expelled from Nova Scotia in 1755 by the British. It's called the Grand Derangement or the Great Expulsion, and how they made their way eventually to Louisiana to become the Cajuns that we know today. And I have a lot of interest in that story because part of it is my heritage.
Yeah, very nice. So now that the gates are open with you writing, you're really writing.
I really am writing.
All right,
yes.
good. Are you still teaching? Still working as a librarian?
I actually just finished up, and I retired last year, so I'm kind of shifting gears into a new career.
Okay. Well, we got to go. Thank
All
you
right.
for stopping by and chatting with us about Secrets of the Cheese Syndicate. Been talking with Donna St. Cyr, and you've got to catch a plane, so I'm going to let you get out of here.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, and we'll see you again soon.